Hello there, and welcome to my latest video. Today we are going to find out Rey's true origins. Well, from my own personal theory anyway. I might be right, I might be wrong. Are you going to argue with a Force ghost? Anyway, let's get into it. So, what do we know about Rey? Well, in this flashback scene from The Force Awakens, she was apparently abandoned at a young age on Jakku. Now, most sensible people would ask, what parents would abandon their child and leave them on a deserted planet, on their own, with no one to look after them? Doesn't really make any sense. Now, in the vision, we also see Unkar Plutt, who maybe she was sold to as a slave, or maybe Unkar was paid to look after her and hide her away from the Jedi or the Sith. Maybe both, or someone else. Another theory is that Rey was some kind of stowaway on a ship, and it wasn't her parents who left there at all. She was simply abandoned. And that would explain why her parents never came back. Now, was Rey simply told a story by Unkar to give her false hope? Who knows? Now, getting back to The Force Awakens, after Rey and Finn steal the Millennium Falcon, they reunite it with Han Solo. Now, we fast forward a bit in the film, and let's rewatch the scene where Han asks her what's her name, and when she tells him it's Rey, his reaction is interesting.
You know how to use one of those?
Yeah, you pull the trigger.
A little bit more to it than that. You got a lot to learn. You got a name?
Rey.
Rey.
It's like he knows who she is somehow, or he's hiding something. Was he the smuggler who found her as a stowaway and left her on Jakku? Maybe he was paid to take her there. Maybe he was paid to take her somewhere else, and as we all know with Han Solo, he often drops shipments at the signs of an Imperial cruiser. But I think there's definitely more to this story than has already been told. Now, throughout The Force Awakens, we see how Rey quickly develops Force powers, from persuading a stormtrooper to let her go, to beating an injured Kylo. Now remember, Chewie had already shot him with a crossbow, so he wasn't at his best. Her character is quickly branded a Mary Sue, and in The Last Jedi, Snoke even mocks Kylo for being beaten by a girl.
Bested by a girl who had never held a lightsaber, you failed!
It's cold.
So, we go to The Last Jedi and her training with Luke, and we have this scene where her strength surprises Luke.
Resisted, Rey.
In this scene, she's instantly drawn to the dark side. Followed later on by the scene in the cave, where, as much as I hate what Rian Johnson did to The Last Jedi, this is an interesting scene, and it's the first real sign as to where Rey's past really lies. She sees multiple versions of herself. This is evidence as to Rey's real origins. Now, in my opinion, this clearly shows that she is some form of clone. But who or why would someone want to do this? And who is the person that she is being shown? Now, cloning tech is readily available in the Star Wars universe. From Episode 2, The Attack of the Clones, we see Kamino, where clones are made from Jango Fett, making the clone troopers. And also, in the Force Unleashed games, the main character, Starkiller, was a clone of Galen Marek, a Force-sensitive human trained by Darth Vader as his secret apprentice. Now, after the death of Marek, Vader endeavoured to create a more powerful and obedient version of his disciple, and he used the cloning facility on Kamino to carry out this agenda. And Starkiller was so powerful he was able to control a Star Destroyer and land it. Now there's other mentions about cloning in the Star Wars universe. If you look at the Dark Empire Star Wars comics, they dealt with cloning of Emperor Palpatine. And if you look up the website StarWarsFandom.com, there's also articles there. One I found that mentions that upon the orders of Emperor Palpatine, a cloning facility was established in the bowels of the Imperial Palace under the reign of the Galactic Empire. In a laboratory, this facility contained several cloning cylinders which Palpatine used for his experiments into essence transference. But apparently, before the Emperor could make use of this facility, he was killed in Return of the Jedi on the second Death Star. Now it's clear to me that the Emperor had access to cloning facilities to protect himself. Now, to me it sounds a bit like how Voldemort uses Horcruxes in the Harry Potter movies and books. It would make sense that he used this technology, and it explains his appearance in the upcoming episode 9. What is even more interesting to me is the dark ray that appeared in the latest trailer. Some say it's just a dream sequence or a flashback, or maybe a vision of an alternate future. But to me the answer is both obvious and clear. What we're seeing is not Rey at all. It is simply another clone that looks like Rey. Or if it's a vision, maybe it's the original person that Rey was cloned from. Maybe Rey was cloned from a powerful Sith Lord. I might be wrong, but if I was to write episode 9, I would make Rey clone. It simply fits in the narrative perfectly. So maybe she was rescued from a cloning facility, or maybe she was too powerful and was rejected as a potential threat to the Empire or to Snoke. But somehow, instead, she ends up being taken by Han Solo to Jakku, where she grew up under a lie that her parents would come back for her. Kylo was right.
Do you want to know the truth about your parents? Or have you always known? The dead in a pauper's grave in the Jakku desert. You have no place in this story. You come from nothing. You're nothing.
Her parents are nobodies because she doesn't have any. She was made in a cloning facility, just like the cloning armies of the Republic. But the question remains, whose genetic material was used as the original donor? Maybe it was even the Emperor himself. After all, it's only a matter of changing chromosomes. So what do you think? Do you think Rey is a clone of the Emperor? Or someone else? Or is she just a Mary Sue? I would love to hear your comments down below. Please leave them. I will read them. I will reply to them. And I'd like to say thank you very much for watching this video. And if you get time, please check out my other videos. Please check out my parody Star Wars music video that I made. Just click on the link up the top here on the page, and I'll see you in the next one. And may the Force be with you all.